This is for libertarians. 3 proposals that your Secretary of State candidates next year, in every state where you're running one, should at least consider adopting. They are either appealing or important or both. I'm Mark Stewart. I'm in Connecticut, and this would apply. I will support any Secretary of State candidate for LP that will be adopting even 2 of these. So number 1 is ranked choice voting. It's a no-brainer for third parties. Weird, especially when we have nice candidates, because the vitriol from both sides of Democrat and Republican have made voting against the bad guy the number 1 thing in most voters' minds. Now, it may take a few election cycles to catch up, but if ranked choice voting is in play and people actually will put a number 2 choice, it's likely to be us. And look at the appeal anyway. Those who decry the immoderation that parties have created have a message of, look, ranked choice voting probably gets more moderate candidates. It will get rid of loony leftists. It will get rid of the die-hard alt-right. That's an appealing message to the general public, and thus it might get you elected Secretary of State. Number 2, on the necessary and appealing, it's that your Secretary of State should be a facilitator to better election information. We get very little that is helpful, and it all comes late in late October, early November. Yet government, because it is expanded so much in our lives, deserves to be scrutinized throughout. And so a good Secretary of State who can, not with public money, but facilitate the information and the importance of information of the various candidates who are out there, running from day 1 after the last House members have been seated, all the way up for nearly 2 years to the next election. It is a worthy place for people to see. Campaign on it, and what you're doing is uplifting democracy. You're uplifting small d democracy, uplifting small r republicanism, which is what our Constitution is about, but in the process, you are greatly uplifting small l and big L libertarians who have a lot to say, have a huge amount of appeal. I would go even further and encourage surveys, okay? Polls that don't wait till the November election, but polls that people can do every couple months, because we know how many people are in favor of positions that we like, but we don't get to hear that or see the results. So let polls do that. Let them be publicized with the Secretary of State's imprimatur on it. And I think our positions and our candidates get elevated greatly. Here's the final one, and it's appropriate for lower population states. I don't think it is apt for Texas or Illinois or Florida, but in medium and smaller states, how about seeking all congressional seats done generally, not by district? Okay, districting always has had a stench since the days of Elbridge Gerry. We just came through a redistricting time, and there's already a lot of contention about where boundaries should be drawn, and we know why. It's because parties are competing for votes, and instead of voters electing candidates, candidates are selecting voters. Not a good trend. Take Connecticut, 5 congressional districts. If done at large instead of by district, you have many candidates that any voter has a selection of 5 to choose from. And yes, some are going to go D with all 5 of their choices, even if there is an abhorrent D, but many won't, okay? They'll split in some way, almost assuring one libertarian getting elected out of 5. almost assuring it, because anyone but the straight, riveted D or R has a vote split, and it's unlikely to go to the other side. So here's the third party in the middle, I used to say above, that might be appealing enough to get 20% of the vote. 20% equals one of our 5 congressional seats. Let's try it. I'm Mark Stewart.